Hey, what is the vibes, dreamers and doers? Welcome back to another Dream Small Business Framework. I am so excited to talk about this topic today about how to charge with confidence. This is something that I once wrestled with, and this is something that I run into other entrepreneurs who also wrestle with this or may not even be aware that they are not correctly exchanging value with their customers. Okay. So today we're going to talk about why it's so important to ensure that we are not missing this step. We need to charge properly, we need to exchange value properly. This is nothing new. We have been doing this since the beginning of time, y'all. There was a point where we were not using money as currency. We were using shells and sugar and all kinds of other items to which people found value. And right now, money, okay, this little green paper has so many people fearful and scared, right? This thing has so many people feel fearful and scared. This makes people feel lack rather than abundant, and scarce rather than prosperous, y'all. And I'll tell you one thing, we may not be able to change everyone's mindset in terms of what value is and how we exchange value. But for sure, you as an entrepreneur and a business owner, we need to ensure that we're shifting our mindsets as entrepreneurs and business owners to fully understand the value that we're delivering to our customers and that we are making an equivalent exchange for our efforts, for our time, for the resources, and everything else that you're putting into an actual product or a service. All right. So I need y'all to listen up and I need y'all to tap in because I'm also going to show you what is called the anchor pricing method. Now, if that's the first time that you've ever heard of that term, or maybe you do know what it is, either way, we're going to go over that today. So if you're new to that term, you will learn what it is. If you have heard of the term before, we're going to revise your current products and services and ensure that you have that set in place correctly for your current products or services. And again, for any of my aspiring entrepreneurs, you get the best of these conversations because you get to start with the gems, right? Instead of making the mistakes later on, I've already made all the mistakes for you. So now I get to pass along something that has been helpful for me. Now, this doesn't mean that it's the right way, it doesn't mean that it's the only way. I just know what has been helpful for me in my journey, and I know what has been helpful for my clients and the people that I serve in regards to these conversations. Okay. So we want you as an entrepreneur and a business owner, the person who is either creating the product or delivering the service, to get paid what you and your business deserves. Okay. So it's really important that you are pricing your products and service correctly and then putting it in the right market. Okay. So you need to understand your clientele base in order to create your prices. Okay. So who are you actually delivering this value to? Okay. Where do they work? What do they look like? Okay. We want to choose some demographics. How old are they? All of these components is going to fall under price, right? And yes, that's important. The demographics are important. We're not just making up a price and then we're going to be stiff with that price, right? If our audience or our customers, our leads who is purchasing these products absolutely can't afford it, right? Like that wouldn't make sense. Okay, so it would not make sense for Maserati to be priced at what it is, but their market to be for college students, right? We understand that. So that is very obvious. So I need you to take a moment to think about who is your clientele base. Okay, what do they look like? Where do they shop? How old are they? Where do they live? All of these components are very helpful for you to determine your price. Now, on the flip side of that, we also want to think about our overhead cost. What does it cost to make or deliver the product or the service, right? Like if there's actual materials that you're using in order to produce a product, or if you're actually spending labor, right? You're spending your energetic resources to create a service, to create and deliver that service. Okay, that's important to know too. Now, based off of this information, you may or may not already see that you need to make some adjustments, right? So that your product and your service is actually fitting into the market to which you're delivering the thing. Otherwise, you need to look at your marketing and advertisement and making sure that you're actually marketing to the right audience. Okay, that is really important. So, we talked about this before. Now, there's a conversation around niches, right? And even for me, with a lot of these webinars, I have niche down into focusing on content. But you know that this is a business framework. We have offers, we have our leads, we have content, and then we have systems. Okay, so even though there are four different corners of the framework, they all work together. Okay, so we'll touch on content a bit here because that actually does fall into one of the tiers of pricing for what we do. But for the most part, we got to make sure that we are charging the right price for the product and the services that we deliver so that we're able to sustain our business. If we don't have sales and we don't have consistent transactions and revenue and income into our business, we do not have a business. So this is really important. And we'll talk about how content can actually be the packaging to the product and the service that you're delivering to your customer. Okay. So by the end of this conversation, you'll walk away with more clarity and confidence and boundaries around pricing and value now that you know your avatar, who you're selling to, and then also what your overhead cost is to produce the thing. All right. So, very first thing before we get into this anchor method that I talked about and mentioned earlier, we're going to work on mindset. I run into this quite often with a lot of early growth stages, entrepreneurs, and business owners. Now, even if you don't have a DBA or an LLC or an S Corp or any of those things, which an S Corp, you would be a mid-sized to large business anyway. But I don't know who's watching this. So I'm speaking to anyone who has actually tuned into this conversation and who's still here right now in this moment. Okay. So even if you do not have an LLC, for example, but you're making transactions and sales, this is still imperative for you too to understand that the very first thing that we need to work on before even giving anyone a price is any limiting beliefs that we might have around pricing and value. There is a money mindset that we need to be in order to confidently walk up to our leads or consumers, announce a price for a thing that we're able to deliver for them, and for them to exchange their value with ours. So, some of the most common and limiting beliefs that I have also wrestled with, but I still run into with a lot of business owners is that number one, they're thinking with their consumer's wallet. We don't need to do that. It doesn't matter if you know this person and their situation. If you have determined that they want to purchase something from you, okay, the desire is there, and that already shows a willingness to exchange value with you. So just because you know of someone's situation, you don't want to assume that they can't afford something. You don't know when their next paycheck is coming in. You don't know if they found $300 on the floor today and they're willing and ready to spend that $300 with you. Stop making assumptions for the people who have shown you that they want to work with you in some sort of capacity. They want to make a purchase or a transaction with you. Okay. Or even if they haven't shown interest yet, but maybe you're going through your cold and warm leads and you want to make an offer, but then this particular person comes across your contacts or comes into mind, and then you're like, oh, wait, but I know that they just lost their job last week. That's okay. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't make the offer. Okay. Let them tell you that they're unable to afford your price. Let them say it. Okay. There's nothing wrong with knowing someone's situation, but still making an offer anyway. Right. Okay. So that's one of the most common limiting beliefs that we come up with for ourselves. Next is that we, as the salesman, entrepreneur, business owner, don't want to seem greedy. Y'all, wherever that belief came from, if that resonates with you, let's just go ahead and rewrite that belief now. This is an equal exchange for value. That is it. This is not about greed. Okay. You're not asking for more than what you're able to deliver, right? So if someone made a request from me and has a certain expectation in that request, when I agree to it, I need to deliver the value that I agreed to. And if you cannot do that, right? If I could not do that, then I am not living up to the expectation of the customer. And I'm either going to have a really angry customer who will never return again, or I'm going to have a bigger problem than that, right? Word of mouth starts to spread and go around. Now that's something different, right? They're charging me for this and they can't deliver on the expectation. Also, we do want to be we do want to understand our market. What else is happening in the market? Like, what are the price ranges, right? So you guys know I'm a fitness coach and personal trainer. So oftentimes when I look into the fitness industry and I'm checking out the market of what other personal trainers and fitness instructors are charging, there is a range, right? So it would be wise of me to be within that range, especially if I'm delivering some of the same services or all of the same services. Now, if I'm able to deliver those services better or provide more value than my competitor, then it would make sense of why I might charge more, right? So for the average individual who might be making $40,000 a year in salary, right? Maybe they have a administrative job, okay? If they wanted to work with me one-on-one, the price is not going to be the same as if I was training an athlete who is going to the WNBA. Okay, I just threw that out there. Okay. Or it doesn't even have to be, it doesn't even have to be that, right? It could be the athlete that's training for their school team and they need some additional assistance, right? The price is not going to be the same. That's what I'm telling you. They're two different markets. So we should understand what our competitors are doing in our market, understand the range in which they're charging, and then also understand what they're delivering. Because if it's the same as what you're doing, you want to be considerate of what's happening in the market, right? It just wouldn't make sense to your customer to make a purchase from you unless they really liked you that much, when they could go and get it from somewhere else. I've said this before. The only difference that is really happening between one white t-shirt and then a Louis Vuitton white t-shirt, right, is going to be the brand, right? The experience. They've been in business for a very long time. Their brand is very well known. And it also changes the status when the customer puts on that t-shirt. So when you put on a plain white tee that you got out of Dollar Dan's, right, versus the plain white tee with the Louis Vuitton logo, only one will change the status. So that is a transformation that happens for customers. I need you guys to understand that. That is the payoff. That is the transformation. When I step outside and someone else sees this logo with the Louis Vuitton logo, right? They see LV, they are going to think something of me. They're going to think a high standard of me. They're going to think I am rich. They're going to think I'm abundant, right? So we need to be mindful of those things, that we're not being greedy. We are actually very knowledgeable about what's happening in the market that we are operating in. And then you can charge to that. So, once again, for me as a fitness instructor, let's say a range of personal training is somewhere between $40 per session and then $200 per session. Okay. I'm going to look at that entire range to see what those coaches and those trainers are delivering inside of their services. And then I'm going to match it with mine, right? And then that's going to give me a good ground number or range to which I can charge within that feels comfortable, not just for me, but also for my customer. Because if they decide, like, oh, okay, Coach Shay charges this amount, let me just take a look in the market and see what other personal trainers are charging. They're either going to see a similar number or they're going to see a difference between the value that's being delivered per service based on the prices. Okay. So you're not being greedy. You need to do your research. You need to be knowledgeable about your market, and you need to be knowledgeable about your dream client avatar, your most ideal client. Okay. How much are they paying you? And then finally, y'all, this mindset has to go. This has to go. Stop giving your family and friends discounts and freebies. This is really important because when our family and friends want to support us, there's really only one way to do that. Monetarily, anyway. There's only one real way to do that monetarily. And that is to pay for the value that you're delivering to them the same way you would if it was a stranger. Right? So we need to stop allowing our friends and family to be like, "Oh, but you know me." And I could take this same product or service and give it to someone else who will pay full price and would appreciate the value that I'm delivering. All the message that is being sent to you is that either they don't appreciate what you can deliver or you don't appreciate what you could deliver. It's one of the two. And it should not be you. Again, this is why I say it's cool to actually work within a range, because if you have a range and you understand your market, you might actually be willing to deliver value based on the pricing that you are able to negotiate with your customer, right? So for me as a fitness instructor, when I do a complete plan, you're going to get a workout plan, you're going to get a nutrition plan, you're going to get a mindset plan, you're going to get weekly coaching and check-ins, you're going to get text messages from me, right? So I just named 5 things, right? So let's say that bundle of package was wrapped up somewhere within $120 a week. Let's just say. If that's the case, and my lead really wants to work with me, right? Like I got a prospect on deck and they really want to work with me, but they actually cannot afford that right now. Doesn't matter whether it's a friend or family or stranger. Everybody gets the same deal, y'all. If they're unable to pay that, but they still want to work with me, which one of these can you do without? That's my next question. Do you actually need a nutrition plan, or are you pretty set on that? Or at least you can look it up and create one for yourself. Maybe you have a nutritionist within your network. You could go and see a nutritionist that will support your workout plan, right? Do you need the weekly check ins, right? An accountability text? Maybe not. You may not need those things, right? Maybe we could switch it to a monthly rather than a weekly. So there's some wiggle room in negotiation based on the value, because it's value and price. That's what we're leveraging here. We're leveraging value and we're leveraging pricing. It's really important that we are teaching our friends and family to value our business. And every time we give them a discount or freebie without verbally communicating, that this is a one-time deal, or that this is not the amount that you usually offer it at, and that there's an expectation that next time they're either paying full price or giving you a referral or something that's actually a part of your marketing strategy. Okay. Then you are telling them without saying it, you're telling them that it's okay to undervalue what you have, right? It's mind-boggling to me. Like friends and family will go out on the weekend and easily blow $100 in the bar. Easy, easy. Okay. Or on food or a vacation. Why? Because they value it, because they want to. It doesn't matter what you think about the value of those things, it's about what they think about the value of those things. So when our friends and family are not paying the price that we're charging with us, it's simply because they don't want to. It's not because they can't afford it, unless if they say, I can't afford it, then you can negotiate, right? Or we can look in our toolkit for in our marketing strategy to see what we can do to still deliver the utmost value with what you're aligned with and what works for your business. Okay? This is really important, y'all. We have to show up confident with our family members and friends because they're the ones that get away with the most when they actually really do want what you're selling. If they truly do, let them pay for it the same way they would if it was for someone that they didn't know. Supposedly, they want to get it from you because they know you and they want to support you and your business. And if that's the case, monetarily, how could they support? It's by paying full price. So, if there are any exceptions to this, let it be just that. Let it be the exception. But we have to make sure that we're confidently and effectively verbally communicating with them what the real price is, how much you actually charge, and that what you're doing for them is an exception. And that is not an exception that can continue if it's not going to help you scale your business. Okay? No hard feelings, y'all. It's not about that. We have to teach people to value things sometimes or to value us. They're not doing it intentionally either. A lot most of the times it's unintentional, right? Like when I was selling my artwork, or like when I first started selling my artwork, I had friends who came out and purchased my joint straight up, no questions asked. Like they picked what they liked, they heard the price, they had it, they liked it, they bought it. Simple as that, right? Just like we do with anything else. And then I'd have other friends who would straight up be like, "Can you make me one of these?" Or "Can I have this?" Without any intention of paying at all, much less of having a discount or getting a friends and family disco. Like, there's not always friends and family disco. Like, again, marketing strategy. Black Friday is coming up in November. You want to have a sale on your products and services. It's the same sale that everybody else gets. You can wait for the sale. It doesn't mean that this particular piece is going to be here or I'm going to be doing the same thing by then. But if you're looking for a sale, you get that during sale times. Okay. Otherwise, y'all, we are doing our friends and family a disservice by not teaching them how to value us. And it's okay that we get the opportunity to teach them that. It's not a bad thing. They're not doing it intentionally, but you are intentional about exchanging value. And I need you to understand why this matters psychologically. Psychologically, the benefit from people paying full price, paying increases commitment and follow through. If they genuinely want the thing that you're selling, they already are sold on that. They're already sold. The moment that they decided, like, I want this, they're sold. So the price wouldn't change much unless they actually could not do that, could not pay that amount, or if they actually don't see the value. It's one of those two things, and that's it. It's nothing else, y'all. Otherwise, people are going to commit and hopefully follow through. Sometimes we buy stuff and don't ever use it, right? Come on, tell me somebody else has been there. I've definitely done that. So we've been through it on the customer side. Now let's flip the lens to the entrepreneurial side. We know for a fact that when people pay more money, they pay more attention. Okay? So that's important, y'all. We're helping people to pay attention to what they're doing. You're buying this thing. Why? You want to use it for what? And when you do, if you do, write me a review and then you get 10% off of your next purchase. Like we want to be smart about how we're exchanging value, right? Reviews are valuable. So that could be an exchange, right? It's important, y'all, that we're taking the time to build out our marketing strategy, understanding our dream client, and then also our market. So there's a very substantial psychological benefit for people who are paying and paying more. They pay more attention. Okay. And then also on the flip side, okay, you get to maintain balance. It's stressful for your friends or your family to want something, and you're either scared to give them the price or you're submitting to what they want to pay you, and you're not even okay with that because you're already given an overflow. It takes time, effort, and resources as it is to create the thing that you're selling. So you will be fully depleted, not just monetarily, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually when we are not receiving energetic mutual benefit. Okay. Money circulates, it flows in and out of our experience. Okay. It flows in and out of our experience is all good. So if someone actually cannot pay for something, that is okay. I've had to say no to several friends several times because my prices were not okay for them, or I did not provide them with the value, the payoff, or the transformation they were going to receive, right? So on average, if I know that for a busy professional who wants to lose 20 pounds, that I can definitely help them do that in 6 months. And it's like, drop 20 pounds like that working with me in 6 months. That's all it's going to take. 6 months is going to fly by. And if you think about it, in the next 6 months, summer's going to be coming around again. You're going to look great in your summer clothes. You're going to look great and feel great on vacation. People are going to see such an amazing transformation. They're going to think you went away during the winter time, got surgery, and then came back, and now you're a whole different person, right? Like, now this is not me making that up. I do have experience in helping people drop 20 pounds or more within 6 months. So this is not fluff. I'm not lying. I'm not making it up, and I'm not being greedy by pricing that amount on that. I've done my research. I understand my market, and I understand the value that I'm providing. So, and all my job is to do is to help my lead or my prospect see that. If I help them to see that, they actually become less resistant to the price and actually more willing to pay, because it's like, yeah, 6 months is gonna fly by anyway. I do get to do this in the winter time and then pop out in the summertime. That's is ready, is game on. Like, that makes so much sense, right? And so it's important. Again, that's the only two reasons that someone's not going to buy from you. They actually really can't afford it, or they don't see the value. You need to make your friends and family see the value in what you're delivering by being honest, transparent, and effectively communicating with them. Okay. I'd love to support you. This is my rate. I can't do that. Okay. Well, that's understandable. I value what I do, and it seems like you value what I do too. So let's honor this exchange properly. This is what I can do. Or actually, before you get there, the next question is, what can you do? I want to help you, right? I'd love to support you. I value what I do, and I know that you value what I do too. You value what I can deliver to you, but we need to honor this exchange properly. So, actually, why don't you tell me how much you can afford? And based on their answer, then you get to decide how much you want to charge with still being able to consider all of the time, effort, energy, and resources that you're putting into the thing, unless you have to say no. And if that's the case, that's okay. If you're comfortable with still saying yes based on the response, then that's also okay. But just understand that we're not doing that for everybody all the time. You don't have a business if you don't have sales. Okay. So moving on, y'all. I had to stress that point because it happens too often. Like, it's still, I laugh now because um most of the times my prospects are not even thinking about my process, my prices. They've already decided that they want my help way before they ask me how much I charge, right? So it's easy for your leads have already made the decision that they want to purchase from you. When we drop in that price, which I don't leave my house to train one on one for a certain amount of money. On average, the person that I speak to will not be able to afford my one-on-one sessions because I work with busy professionals who have an extremely hard time balancing work and workouts. And I help them to balance both through mindset, through physical fitness, and also through nutrition. Now, for someone who could not do that, they can grab my pre recordings. We could still have one on one coaching where I'll guide them through other pre recordings. Okay. And or they get access to my vaults, my playlist, okay, of workouts that helps me get into shape. Or we could do virtual because, again, I don't leave my house unless I'm working with a busy professional or for a certain amount of money. It takes too much resources. I've already done this, y'all. And I've made many mistakes. I've made so many mistakes. And yes, it is still rewarding to be able to deliver for people who are doing their best too, right? But at the end of the day, if you don't have the sales, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have a business. There's no way around that. There's no way around that. So we have to do what's right for ourselves, for our business, and for our customers. All right, so let's talk about the ripple effect of this, okay? There are benefits of people paying for value, okay? So for you, as the entrepreneur and the business owner, once you're stating your prices, you're being very transparent with people about what you charge. This actually helps you to build confidence and sustainability over time, okay? You have to practice actually giving the real price, and that's okay. So we need to be able to give people the real price and then listen to see what the next step is. What's the best next step for this person? You can only know that once you start with the first step of giving them the actual price. Also, when people hear this price, it validates what you do. It validates your expertise, right? Now, I have several reviews of people that I've coached. And also, I've clearly coached myself. People usually see my physique and then they want to work with me. That is also another way that I advertise. Okay. So my experience is already validated up front, but when I put the price on it, not just the price, but then we actually have the conversation of what is the payoff for the transformation? It validates your expertise. So I used to be overweight. So people now, they look at me now and they're mind boggled, even if they don't know me. Like, y'all haven't even known me for that long. They're like, you used to be overweight. It's hard to believe because of the current physique that I have. And I'm not bragging, I'm being real with y'all. Like, I had this today. Y'all know I work on Saturdays. I teach class on Saturdays. I taught 2 classes today. I did my own workout and I had 3 people come up to me to ask me about personal training. Maybe 4. So I'm not bragging. I'm actually giving you my experience just from today alone. Okay. So Just from my physique alone, that validates my expertise. But then when I put the price on it, right? And they say, it's how much? But I say, but listen, I used to be overweight. I was 20 pounds overweight. I'm 20 pounds less than what I used to be just 3 years ago. And I found an amazing and incredible way to work out in a short amount of time that not only builds muscle, but it also helps you to lose weight at the same time. So you're working smarter, not harder when you're at the gym. I mean, you still work hard, but not harder than you would without this plan. I mean, I found an immaculate method. And it's not so immaculate that it's unique. You can definitely look up some YouTube videos, follow along with your favorite content creator in on a YouTube video, on a YouTube channel, and I'm sure that you could get to your goal. But I help busy professionals get to their goal fast, like 6 months fast. Like by the next summer, you will look and feel amazing and people won't believe that it's you. That's what I did for myself and for several of my clients, right? I just validated my expertise without going through the process. Like, well, what is it? What is the type of workout? We're not there yet. We're not there yet. I just want you to know that I can get you there. I've done it for other clients and I've done it for myself, as you can see with your own two eyes. And so you can know that what my price is and either make a decision of how you want to move next. You could be honest about whether you can't afford that. We could talk about what we can do with still getting you fast results, or we can move forward and start working together because you understand the payoff and the transformation. Like, looking good and feeling good is really important to people, especially busy professionals who want not just longevity in their lifetime, but they got to show up to meetings. They got to show up with clients. They want to look good in their suits. They want to look good in different spaces when they're on stage. So that is my long-winded example for you, okay, of the ripple effect that happens, right? It helps people to make a decision, right? Because they already knew that they wanted this thing. Now it's how do I get it? And if there's any barriers, we as the entrepreneurs help to eliminate any barriers that people have between us and the value that they want from us. Now, this doesn't mean that all things that you'll always get a yes, but it does mean that you'll start to get less no's. There's so many gateways that I've found to still connect with people and still deliver value to them that is not exhausting on my part, is not laborious. It requires minimal to no effort at all, aside from sending an email. Okay. And that they can actually start to see results and be happy with. So, with that being said, I also want to um, mention that it's important that we're preventing burnout, y'all. We're not just laboring just because people are asking us to do something and we're desperate for a sale. It still won't add up. As if you are not profiting and generating consistent revenue, you don't have a business no matter what. So every transaction matters. Now, for them, the benefits of them paying for the value, it increases accountability and their transformation. Like, you are delivering a change, a payoff to this person, and you are increasing their accountability to pay more attention because they're paying more for a thing. So we want to help them implement that thing, right? We want to give them the product or service and then help them implement it. We're holding them accountable to it. It also deepens the respect and the trust. Again, I find this very important when it comes to family members and friends. Okay. We need to deepen the respect and the trust. Okay. Put some respect on our names. It's not just because you know me. It's so funny. It should be the other way around. And a lot of times it is not. So we are teaching people to put respect and trust into what we say that we could deliver to them, because they're still our customers too. So we're still going to deliver the utmost value, right? And then also it empowers them, to invest in their own growth, like whatever it may be, or to invest in their own experiences. Like, it doesn't matter if you're crocheting a sweater, right? If they're planning to wear that sweater somewhere, they are planning to step out and look good in that sweater, to feel good in that sweater. and to get compliments on that sweater. And guess what? When they pay more or pay full price at least on that, that speaks to status. That is how people really want to feel. Sometimes you'll find individuals that's like, yeah, and I got it for a good deal, I got it for cheap. But guess what that means? That means that they can get it too. That doesn't give you status when everybody can wear the same thing or do the same thing or have the same experience. That's not status. So that can be okay if that's your business model, though, right? If that's your business model, that's okay. If you're selling fragrances, if you're selling candles, you have a mass amount of product that you want to move, then that makes sense. That might be a part of your business model, right? It's something that's still affordable, but depending on, again, overhead costs, time, energy, resources that you're delivering through this product or service as well, it still needs to be compensated for, y'all. So when we normalize paying for value, we uplift each other to do the same thing. Think about a time where you paid for something that might have seemed out of your price range, but you really wanted it and you bought it anyway, right? Maybe it is a Louis Vuitton something or a Birkin. Maybe not a Birkin, but I don't know who's watching this, but y'all know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. A pair of shoes, maybe you went on a really expensive date or a meal or took a really expensive vacation. You chose that you wanted to have this experience and that it was worth paying for. And so you did it. Maybe you saved your money, maybe you paid up front, maybe you did negotiate, but that's okay. We want to normalize this interaction of conversation and exchange. All right, y'all. So now that I'm done coaching y'all on mindset for both you and your customer, we want to get into some practical pricing confidence tools. Practical pricing confidence tools. Okay. So we're going to review the anchor pricing method. Okay. The anchor pricing method is a practice of setting a reference point or a reference price that helps both you and your clients understand the true value of your offer, because that's what we talked about, right? What are the two times that your customers are resistant to paying for the actual price? Is if they actually don't have it to pay for it, or if they don't see the value. It's the only two things. Okay. So why delivering the value in the conversation works better than just naturally comparing with numbers. Again, we can find what we're looking for somewhere else. It is very rare that you have the unique thing that someone can't get somewhere else. So, or to settle with something else, right? So maybe it's not the same thing somewhere else, but they can settle for something else. Okay. So we need to present our value, right? We need to present the price of what we're delivering with context. Okay. So we don't just want to isolate the price. We want our customers to understand what they're actually getting, the actual payoff, what they're paying for real, not just the thing, but what is the outcome that they're paying for with it. Okay. So people are not going to understand or know what something should cost unless they have something that they're comparing it to. So again, if they walk on and be like, that's okay. Like, I'm going to go do some research and maybe I'll find something else. I could get the same value for a lesser amount, right? We want to help them eliminate all of that because actually we want instant gratification. That's what humans love. We actually want the thing right now. We don't want to go home and have to do research and delay the process of obtaining a thing any longer. We actually just want to do it now. We want to sign off right now and make the thing happen right now. Okay. Let's release some dopamine. So we want to make our desired price feel reasonable and valuable in the moment. So the best way to do this is through the anchor pricing method. And what this is to create 3 price anchors. And I'm going to give you the 3 price anchors right now. So if you have a pen and paper, or you're going to have to rewind this back so you can write it down, or you type it in your phone, doesn't matter either way. Here's the 3. You have your bare minimum price. You have an aligned price, aligned. And then we have an expansive price. So we actually have three prices on the one offer. Okay. And here's why this helps us to define our boundaries and deliver prices confidently, not just confidently saying them, but also allowing us to be comfortable with what we're offering. Okay. So the bare minimum price is exactly what it sounds like. It's the bare minimum. It's the lowest that we're willing to go before it feels misaligned or draining. That is the last thing that we should feel about the value that we're delivering, y'all, is misaligned and draining. So this is the lowest amount. This covers all of your costs, all of the resources, all of the overhead still, right? And then maybe a little bit, and then maybe a little bit more. So your profit might be lower than what it would be in the other two tiers, but nonetheless, you are still willing to do this thing because it still feels good. Right? So if you charge less than this amount, it doesn't feel worth your time and energy. But if you charge this exact amount, you're happy because your customer is still satisfied and happy because they were able to negotiate something with you that works for you and for them. Make sense? Great. Aligned pricing is next, okay? This price feels fair. Not only does it feel fair, it feels abundant and it feels sustainable. Right? This is something that you're doing consistently. So this is like your standard price for a thing. You decided that this shirt costs 35 bucks and it costs 35 bucks for everybody. Okay? It feels good, it feels fair. Ooh, I see a cardinal. That's a good sign, y'all. 35 for anybody who is struggling with a price around something. Okay? So let's say this shirt is 35 bucks. That feels good. It covers all of my costs for what it for um for me having to either make or purchase it myself. And then this is a sustainable amount. So if multiple people bought this shirt X amount of times, that is going to sustain my business. It's also going to generate me profit. So this rate matches all of the energy that was put into obtaining the resources, packaging the resources, and delivering it as well. It also includes your expertise, time. These are all of the things that we talked about earlier that's usually important to people, including ourselves. Okay, so that's aligned pricing. And then finally, we have expansive pricing. Okay, expansive price is the next level up. It's your stretch price for a higher value, and this is for your premium clients. So remember when we talked about our 4 offers, we have a core offer, we have our lead offer, and then we have our premium offer. We have a continuity offer. Well, we always say when we have one offer, we really have 4. We have 4 offers altogether, right? All right. So your expansive price is for your premium clients. This means that they do get a little bit more. They get a little bit more value, right? So remember the example I gave earlier as a personal trainer. I can just give you the workout plan, right? But people usually also struggle with their nutrition. And no matter what, you can't outwork a bad diet. So it's really helpful to have a nutrition plan that complements the workouts that I'm going to give you. And so you really want both. Now, I'm not giving the nutrition plan for free. The nutrition plan costs money too. So now that's added on to the align price. And so it's a little bit more, but so is the value, because if you have the proper diet with the proper workout, that's what actually helps you to lose weight faster. And that's what actually helps you to lose weight within that 6 months time frame that we discussed earlier as well. You might be able to do nutrition on your own. And if you can, that's cool too. You can still just do the workout plan. But if you struggle, if you already struggling with it, you don't really have a nutritionist, you don't know where to start, what to do, and you don't want to do it by yourself, you don't want to do it yourself, then it might make sense to also do the nutrition plan with the workout plan that you're already considering getting. Okay. So this usually goes for your premium clients because they pay a little bit more than the clients that pay the aligned price, and that's okay. So like for me, for example, my bare minimum prices range somewhere in between depending on what it is. Let's just say for one of them is $88 per session. And then the aligned price is $111 per session. And then a premium price might bring it up to $197. And that's with everything included. Okay. So now when I quote the 111, it'll feel balanced to the client and to myself. And it also seems solid because it's like, well, if I did do the nutrition plan, the check-in text, and then the one virtual coaching session per month, then that feels like a complete package for $200. That sounds pretty fair. That sounds about right. Okay, so that's just an example of something of what that would look like for me. Okay, now my question is, what does that look like for you and what you offer? And how can you add more value to what you're offering? Like nutrition plans and workout plans for me, those are custom. I can't always give everybody the same workout plan or the same nutrition plan. So it being custom on its own already allows for you to charge a little bit more. Why? Because when you have to do something custom, that requires a different type of resource, time, energy, and also getting to know your client. It depends, right? It depends on what they're asking for, what they want. So it's important. Like I know a person who crochets apparel and accessories, and there's been times where she's crocheted something for a customer and then has had to take it apart because it's a custom order. Not everybody's bodies is the same, right? So it's not like she makes a bunch of these crochet things and sells it from extra small to extra large. It's custom to the person that's making the request. And so it might even require a second or third revision. You got to pay for that, y'all. And it's okay to do that because you're getting something custom. That's not something that everybody going to be walking around with. And that feels really good because then that changes your status, right? Remember what we were talking about? You connecting the dots? Is what I'm saying making sense? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Drop a comment for me. Let me know where you wrestle with the most. Let me know where you've begun to shift your mindset. Like, let me know what did you need to rewrite as a part of the conversation that you tell yourself in regards to exchanging value with your customers, your friends and your family, your strangers, like your leads, it don't matter. Okay. Let me know down in the comment box if you are picking up what I'm putting down and what you about to do different. Okay. So that is pretty much the anchor pricing. You're going to have three price ranges. You're going to do your research in your market with the products and the service that you deliver, and you're going to come up with your anchor prices, your three price ranges, a number that you will absolutely not go below, which is your bare minimum, but you're still capable and willing to deliver the thing. Then you're going to have your standard or your aligned price. Okay. This is what you offer to everyone, your family, your friends, your cold and warm leads, don't matter. Your mama, all them people. Okay. They get the standard aligned price. And then your premium clientele, these are the ones who want a little bit more. Okay. So you might be able to deliver one thing, but then you add on something else that adds more value to the original thing that they want. That is now a premium price. That is now an expansive price because we're expanding the value, so the price expands as well. Okay. So we want to communicate value around the anchors, and we don't need to give them all three prices, y'all. We're only talking the aligned price unless you already know it's a premium client. The bare minimum is last. We don't even talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno. Okay. Your bare minimum is Bruno. And we don't talk about Bruno unless you have identified a prospect who really wants your thing, but cannot afford it. So then we work backwards with them to give them the right value for what they're able to pay for. We start with the line pricing unless you have identified a premium client. And then that is when you bring in your expansive pricing. It's really that simple. We use the anchors in offers and in packages, and they work wonderfully. So if you're doing private coaching or consultation sessions, and you're doing it for a lot amount of times, it's this price. If you're doing it in a group setting, then maybe it's this price. But the anchor makes it feels more accessible. Okay, so just really quick, because we're running out of time here. I'll give you one more example. Okay. So if my personal training sessions are 111, but my members get it at 88 bucks, the anchor price is 111. But what makes it feel like a deal is the 88. But the catch 22 is that they are a member, right? So that means there's some continuity there. There's an expectation that there's coaching sessions happening on a month to month basis, or some other type of deliveries or exchange of value that's happening on a month to month basis, right? They're members, okay? Or let's say I do private sessions, for example, private coaching sessions, 3 months is 1500. 1500, okay? But group coaching might start at 500, right? So maybe if you bring two more friends, or if you bring friends and family, then we actually will do it at this price for 3 months, and each person pays this price for 3 months. Okay, the 1500 is the anchor price, but the 500 makes it feel more accessible, and they still have to bring some exchange some value with us in order to receive that price. Make sense, y'all? Come on, we could do this. Have some confidence. Stop second guessing your prices. Create your anchor prices, 3, and don't second guess them. Deliver it confidently. Don't say a number until someone asks you for it. Okay? Avoid undercharging out of guilt, or because someone's your family and been your friend for the last 70 years. Don't matter. Okay? And then know when a discount is aligned. Align it with everyone else in every other business and organization. Black Friday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, the New Year, Black History Month, Women's Month, spring sale, spring recess, Mother's Day, graduation ceremony time. Y'all, there's literally something happening every month. So if you're gonna discount your stuff, make it aligned with that, with the rest of the world, because then it doesn't seem like you're doing something out of the ordinary, and you're not undercharging or being underpaid for the value that you're delivering. And then you still get to over deliver actually with the same value at a discounted price underneath certain circumstances that make sense for your business model. So, with that being said, it is 5 o'clock. Bah, yo, I'm killing it out here. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm very excited for myself. All right. So, with that being said, I want to offer a complimentary discovery call for anyone who is struggling figuring out their anchor prices, or even with this conversation, maybe need a little bit more of a nudge in that mindset shift, and how to go about pricing your products and services correctly so that you could deliver them confidently to your prospects. Okay? So you're going to click the link down in the description box below to schedule your discovery call with me. Okay? We jump on a 30, maybe 40-minute phone call, and then we will make sure that you are aligning your prices correctly with what you're able to deliver. And I'm happy to do that as a complimentary for you. I look forward to talking to you and hearing from you guys. Make sure you leave a comment down below with the gems that you're taking away. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I drop the next one. Every Saturday, we're doing a webinar at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I'll see you on the next one, y'all. Peace. Have a great